Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of week 2 of the group stage of Highway to the Zemus Zone 6. It's going to be an exciting night here, an exciting race between two racers who both won their opening week match. We have Kyrios and Tybalt both sitting at 1-0, and both are hoping to be in the top 6 of their group by the end of the group stage to move on to the brackets. We're a long way off from that, but we have a pretty exciting race here tonight, and we got Cubs Rule 21 doing the restream, Darth Plagial on tracking, and I'm joined in the booth by Flossie Fern. Flossie, good evening, and what do you think of the hero?
Korgs, good evening to you too. And yeah, honestly, this hero is interesting. She's got a lot of versatility, but she's never my favorite hero to see starting one of these off. What do you think?
I like her a lot as a hero because of that versatility. It really will come down to that starting partner character, because she does not have, if memory serves, quite a lot of hit points as a level 1 character.
No, I believe she starts with 30. So her and Eddie partners, that is definitely a challenging overworld. So we'll see who she ends up getting.
Yeah, it would be nice if your first two characters' hit points added up to at least triple digits, and there are. That would be the combination that would not get us there. But yeah, we've got two very talented runners, two runners who have been doing well for many years here. I was just thinking of many years. We often joke that if you're playing this game, you might be a bit on the older side, potentially, some of us, because it is an older game. But just that number 6, Highway to the Zemus Zone 6, if you were just here at the beginning of Free Enterprise and the first Zemus Zone, I guess we're getting up there in age as well. But here we go, Flossie. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. We don't have to think about our age anymore. Oh, and it's Eddie and Radius starting it out for us today. There we go.
We did it. And they can immediately get underground, and they can immediately take on the bosses of Feymarch if they wanted to, right off the bat.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, because when you start out with a party like this, you kind of want options. So I'm sure our runners are pretty happy to know that they could go underground immediately and see what's kind of going on down there.
Yeah, just purely from the early game routing perspective, I'm curious to see about their looting choices, because that opens up a ton of additional decent looting choices. So will they stick to overworld loot spots, or will they both immediately toss that magma key? Looks like I thought Tybalt was, but he faked me out. How about you, Kyrios?
Oh, look, both of them did the little fake out there and going straight to Edlin Castle for their first little loot.
Well, we'll see the path they make. We'll see if they do a full loot, or if they're just going to find a trap or two and then loot around it.
Whoop. It's like Tybalt found the first monster box there.
And I think Kyrios found another one, but a different one at the same time.
Yeah, I think Kyrios went to the left side first, but now he's going to the middle.
So Tybalt now has knowledge of 2 of them.
Now with 2, are you tempted to do a full loot, or do you like to cut it after, just like one segment?
I find it very hard to resist walking outside and saving, because I'm kind of a scaredy cat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would like to do a full loot, but it also depends on what you get. If you feel comfortable with what you get, I suppose a heroin robe for our very currently puny Rydia would go a long way. I think I just saw Bahamut ore on
yeah,
Tybalt's
Tybalt
side.
just spiked a Bahamut there in the, I guess it's the Vanilla Ogre chest down there in the basement.
And Tybalt says, good enough. Let's go underground.
I do not blame him. Oh, and I think, Stardust Rod. Yeah, I think we just saw the same thing. I missed that, but yeah, Stardust Rod, Tiara, Bahamut. Radia is definitely going to be pretty buff here.
Yeah, thank you, Chad, for keeping indexing everything that our runners are coming across, because it is easy to miss them as they're opening a black shirt. Nice addition to that.
Yeah, this
glass hat
is
actually
quite good.
That glass hat with Team 90 hit points is that basically, it extends their early game capabilities quite a lot.
Looks like Tybalt's going to do a little shopping before he goes underground there.
Took a look. Yeah, I was curious to see if he was going to sell, because he didn't really loot too much once he found that Bahamut. So I wondered if he had built up a lot of cash value yet, but no selling yet.
I'm curious getting the good news of Bahamut there and taking off.
I mean, that's essentially full kit. Bahamut, Rune Ring, Tiara, Stardust Rod.
And a black shirt, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Yep. Rydia will not have to go back to the mall for any additional accessories. And a Sork robe if you want one.
Oh, well, there you go. Dang.
Yep, so under 4 minutes in, basically top level across the board for Rydia.
It's great because you're stuck with her.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere.
Tybalt did just find a Thunderclaw down in the Feymarch cave. Not that we have a character that can use it yet, but that will be good later on if our runners decide to do a Mac Giant grind, which is pretty common. And they get a character for it.
Feymarch freebie, not a key item, a life staff, decent staff that I believe Rydia can use at this point in the game. Not that she's going to, but will be good if the runners find the white mage, which you're always pretty keen on getting one as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And Curios is showing off the Stardust Rod over there, pretty much annihilated the Dark Imps. And I actually kind of missed the character there. I was too dazzled by the Stardust Rod.
You did not miss the character. It was a dupe Eddie.
Dupe Eddie. Okay, there we go. All right, exciting.
Not the scariest of Feymarches if you caught those bosses. We had Octomom in the king spot and some kind of purple Mylon robe in the queen spot. So a few levels, a few more characters, and those are going to be doable fights.
Yeah, super doable, and you love to see it down there because those fights can be kind of nasty.
Yeah, you figured the next time Tybalt goes down, he obviously knows what he'll be dealing with, and he'll be ready, and they shouldn't pose too much of a threat.
Curios is kind of doing some overworld checks, while Tybalt is going to go say hi to Yang here, so a little divergence we already have.
To follow up on your point from earlier where you mentioned that we're stuck with the Rydia, that is because the Sea Hero flag is on, a bit of a challenge flag, and that means she will be in the party, cannot dismiss her. She's always going to gain her experience, and she does set the agility. She's the agility anchor for the team. And Curios is letting us know it was a Mylon and friends down at the Queen spot as the Stardust Rod comes out to deal with Mylon Z.
Yeah, easy with that Stardust Rod. Curios is through.
I was mainly watching Eddie during that fight. He was really doing his thing there.
And we have the Sand Ruby as a reward for beating Antlion Cave, so that is another character. Hopefully it's someone maybe a little more beefy.
So Eddie in the bed would not fit that description. I'm taking it.
No.
I'm just now, I've been neglectful. I'm now looking at the objectives to see what we're dealing with. We have the standard Forge, Tower of Zot with the Earth Crystal, Super Cannon, Launch the Falcon, Baron, Package, and 2 Darkness gated objectives, including completing the Giant. So you mentioned potential for that grind later on, so we could have a grind directly into the Giant completion.
I appreciate when that happens quite a bit.
Yeah, it feels nice after you do the whole grind setup and you get to just kind of walk towards the element spot and your grind fight pops up conveniently along the way.
Curios just found life pots in Kaipo here, so very, very essential. We do have somebody who can use that Thunder Claw now. Yang is getting cured by the Sand Ruby.
And Paladin Cecil left his sword with Sheila. You might have to have a conversation later with Yang. I don't know. But that was a lightsaber from Sheila 1. Yeah, if you've been watching this tournament or this flag set in general, you do know that the Mac Giant is the the go-to grind most of the time, and we are essentially set up for it with that Thunderclaw, that Yang, those life pots. It still might be over a half hour till we see one, but runners of this level, both comfortable with that grind, it's already on their minds.
Yeah, in this flag set, you're kind of starting to think about your grind, you know, basically immediately, wanting to sort of gather equipment and stuff like that. You don't want to be at that point and not have what you need. And Tybalt is through the Baron Guards at, I believe that's Fabul.
Yeah, looks like that was his first fight of the seed, and Rydia's going to have more than her starting hit points, but Eddie did not survive. He'll still be at 60.
And yeah, since Rydia is our hero today, even if she ends a fight down, she is still going to level. I'm not sure if you mentioned that earlier or not. Sorry if you did, but so you cannot keep her down to keep her agility low.
Ogo. We've been using that Stardust route a lot, but guess what? It's Bahamut time.
Bringing out the big guns.
Let's see what Rydia's hitting for with this humongous deadly dragon. That's a big number.
Yeah, pretty tidy. We have another Black Mage as a reward here. We've got a Palom, and we have the Darkness Crystal nice and early.
Well, I estimated 30 minutes or so to the grind, and it might be closer to 10 or 15. So how many characters are we at now?
I think we're at a whopping 3 on Kyrios' side.
With a 4th on the moon, potentially.
Very, very
and
true.
Perhaps when we get that 5th, it might be grind time. We'll see what Kyrios, where he goes next, as Tybalt just takes the fight to get some XP. No character reward there with the dupe of Eddie. Once again, Eddie taking a nap.
And one of our runners did find a Thunderclaw. I'm not sure if it's the one who has Yang or not, but yeah, that'll be useful during that grind.
I think that came from the Feymarch dungeon. Could be wrong, but I would guess Kyrios will probably come across it as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
It looks like, do we get the tower key from Fabul on Tybalt's side? So that is one of the objectives. So we have that one, along with the 2 darkness objectives, essentially available. 3 out of the required 6 they need to get access to Fight Z.
Matthias in chat confirms Tybalt is the one with the Thunderclaw, and there is also a Poison Claw in that inventory as well. Thank you. All right, Kyrios is checking his freebies here. Gonna get the bad news that there's no key item down in Feymarch, but the good news that the bosses are pretty alright down there.
And we see the save before going into the dungeon, so we know the looting is coming. Lizard Spear, there's that Thunderclaw.
Tybalt receives his Sand Ruby and will likely go and pick up his Yank.
Just noticing Tybalt picked himself up some exits. That's convenient. Missed where those came from. Maybe Fabul.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, those are among my favorites to find early. If you're just one of those first 2 shops you might just happen to stumble into, finding exits, especially if you don't have the early Porum. I always pick up at least a handful.
And in this flag set, Tella is completely excluded, so you're not going to get that starting exit ever.
Yeah, I've been playing this flag set so much, as I'm sure you have as well, and everyone else who's participating. I had the weird thought the other day, like, I can't wait till I get to play with Tella again. I never thought I'd say that.
I feel the same way. I miss him.
Yeah. I mean, Foo's cool too, but
There's nothing like
Tella
a
gives
Tella.
you, yeah, he gives you the utility without, but he's part of the team. He's not some lunar god just kind of walking among mortal men.
Tella's relatable.
Yeah, he's slowing down a little bit. I mean, he's been through, well, I guess not counting this one, 5 Zemus zones. Gosh darn it.
Basically, he's of the age that he could be playing Free Enterprise, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But the way they do the weird way they do the ages with these characters, like maybe he's the old man and he's 32. I don't know.
See, I just add 10 is my little rule with Final Fantasy characters. 10 years, and then it makes sense.
Okay, I like that.
Runner's kind of retracing each other's steps here a little bit. We've got Kyrios going for his Yang attack. Well, not Yang attack. I guess he doesn't have the pan yet, but Yang tag.
Yeah, I don't know what Rydia did there just to let Yang know. Maybe she tickled the bottom of his foot from the foot of his bed. I'm not sure.
Just left a note.
Tybalt put a nice body block on the lady in the Kaipo shop, though, so I appreciated that.
Oh yeah, she's a menace.
Yeah, you have 2 ways of getting it. You either have to be quick and agile, or you have to, just let her know, listen, this is my space now. You can have it back when I leave.
I definitely go for the shove. And we're going to see our first Ordeals attempt here on Tybalt's side. Looks like we're suiting up for it.
Not too much kit for Yang yet, but I'm sure that'll come. Just Poison Claw, decent, of course, to find early. Ice Claw to go along, and the Diamond Bracelet to add a little defense. That'll be useful during that Mylon and Friends fight down in the Queen spot in Feymarch, if that happens.
That's true. All right, we're gonna see the first Feymarch Ordeals boss here.
And also Tybalt's first save, 16 and a half minutes in.
Ah, no kidding. I would have saved 16 and a half times by now.
Yeah. Even if you're just kind of walking around, I have an issue with my controller where it gets unplugged accidentally if I move the wrong way, so I save sometimes just in case that happens.
Wow.
I think I need a new controller.
Hard mode. Easy first boss. Kind of a disappointment to see it here. Officer and guards. So easily through this. Probably won't see a save between bosses here.
That
or
seeing, yeah.
Too.
Listen, who wants to watch an officer run away again?
I certainly don't.
That runaway is so disappointing because it's so great in a high hit point spot, but we got a little bit of a challenge here on the backside. Let's see if we get the Bahamut off.
Yeah, the Mega Sisters in back attack spot is a little scary sometimes. But yeah, we do have a Bahamut on our side. Freddy could stay alive.
Someone told Cindy. Or Mindy, actually. That diamond ring keeping Yang alive with 2 hit points.
We didn't see any mute gear anywhere, I don't think. So they don't. Our runners at least on Tybalt's side, he doesn't have anything that necessarily hits their weakness either, which would make this fight a lot easier.
I believe they are weak to humongous dragons blarging you, though.
Well, that is definitely something I think we all have in common. There they go.
I mean, I hope never to experience it, but I think you're right, Flossie. Kyrios is taking us somewhere new.
Looks like we are going to the moon there.
Something tells me Kyrios is not just going to march straight down to the Masamune altar, though. I think this is a character check, maybe a shop check, but I'm guessing mainly just a character check.
Sounds about right to me. Radia receives the spoon in the paladin room, and she's got to do this fight all by herself.
From mage fight to mage fight, I imagine they're going to get treated the same way. Asura is not going to do a darn thing until she gets attacked, and that'll be the last thing that happens.
It's okay to have one tool in your belt if it's Bahamut.
That needs to be cross-stitched.
And Kyrios gets a nice Cecil reward, so we're likely going to see him do Ordeals pretty soon, I would think.
Yeah, party strength becoming pretty high. Rydia with all that gear, and Bahamut, Eddie with the spoon, and probably eventually a paladin.
Oh yeah, I just put that together. Eddie kind of became a character here.
I haven't kept track though. Has he survived? I guess he survived that No, I think he got taken out in the Magic Sisters fight.
I think I don't think he, yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get Kyrios' stream back in a little bit with our talented restreamer Cubs Rule working behind the scenes alongside Darth Plagial helping us out here tonight.
Tybalt is working on getting his second black mage here, doing the Baron in check, which we know is Palom. We do have some nice ice gear for this Ruby, but we don't need it because it is in the first Baron spot, and I believe there's only, 450 HP here. Pretty easy to take out.
Yeah, every single one of Tybalt's characters could have one-shot that Ruby in their own special way.
And of course, we're seeing another Bahamut applied to Ogopogo.
I believe it was 54.98 done by Kyrios'. 98.42 by Tybalt's.
GG.
In the battle of insignificant numbers, Tybalt wins that round.
Now, is that the difference between a sorcerer robe and a black shirt? Is that what we're seeing here?
I mean, is that the only difference in their gear right now?
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I feel like they're pretty similar.
Yeah, I've lost track of, did they both get the tiara? Did they both get the rune ring? And then does it come down just to the roll?
Scar in chat is saying sorcerer robe and black shirt give the same wisdom bonus. Okay.
All right, we got Kyrios to stream back in time to see how he handles the Magic Sisters. Having 5 characters is a little bit of an advantage as you're playing the kind of roulette with who does the spell hit, and hopefully enough time to get this Bahamut off.
And we'll see if Eddie gets any levels on him in this fight.
Oh, I'm so excited for Kyrios' Eddie. He doesn't know what he's about to get.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially if there's... hurts to see. But yeah, a lot of times, especially if there's a lot of duplicates in a seed, you end up with like a somewhat useless Eddie for a long time, so you're always happy to see that spoon.
Of course, his major drawback is even at super high levels, he's only getting a little bit above 1,000 hit points unless you really overgrind. So we'll see if an edge shows up. A lot of runners make the decision that the essentially quad 9 damage of a darted spoon is worth what Eddie can do, considering that, you know, especially in a Z fight, you might have to pick him up a bunch of times.
Yeah, he's a big help up until then, and then, you know, if you have an edge, you pretty much are de-equipping that spoon once you get a few shots in, maybe.
Still no white mage found. We'll see if the runners want to grind and kind of just rely on high hit point chemists later on. That always kind of makes me a little antsy. I do like to rely on the comfort of a sturdy white mage.
I would feel a little more comfortable if Rydia had a summon that cured in this scenario.
Like
and
the
that
one
being
that's getting
said,
destroyed.
Exactly, yeah. We haven't seen anyone check the Hob summon. I mean, you technically could get one there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of places. Maybe the dwarf, after dwarf 1 fight, she'll get some summons at random. Could be found in a store, could be looted, but still.
Darth Plagueis said someone picked up a silver orb on Hobbs, so somebody's got it. Ether 2's there in the moonshot.
Surprised I didn't see Tybalt buy that unless he did it so quickly I missed it. Kind of with that Bahamut, that's a huge MP cost. I think it's 60 a pop. If I typically will pick up a handful of those as well. They are expensive.
Yeah, I don't think he got them, but I could have just blinked.
But he also he hasn't done a ton of looting. I haven't seen a ton of selling. He's really just kind of motoring along. And we'll see where he goes now that he's picked up his paladin. Kyrios has transformed his Dark Knight into a paladin. They can basically do whatever they want.
It's like Tybalt's gonna crack a couple eggs here. And we do have 2 sirens in the kit, which is really, really nice.
Yeah. The Freedom Kit high roll, right? It either gives you 1 or 2.
You get 1 or double.
Eddie just spooned himself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are they doing? Why is Tybalt doing that, Flossie? Why is he hurting his own characters?
Well, I believe Tybalt is probably setting his Zed up for a slingshot, which I just kind of am learning about this a little bit, but I believe it's if he is 5 levels under your lowest leveled character, he is going to get a is it twice the experience during the grind? Gotcha. All right.
It is double, and it's your median level character, but essentially,
gotcha. Okay.
If you have 2 characters down, out of the remaining 3 that are up, you could think of it as the lowest level of those 3.
And that's 5+. That's not. You don't have to be exactly 5. That would be too hard.
No, yeah, that would be a fun challenge flag. We have a lot of talented people working on some open source ideas and projects. That would be fun. 5 only, awful. not 6, not 7. But yeah, it's at least 5.
But yeah, that'll ensure we have the beefiest Edward possible.
And it makes me think that he's okay with not having a white mage. Unless both runners are now going to dwarf, this might be maybe Tybalt's kind of last attempt, and then I would probably guess that we see Eddie get dropped for white mage, but I could see another decision being made as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it depends on kind of what our runners are comfortable with. It's hard to drop a spoon Eddie. It really is, but
I don't find it that difficult personally.
That's fair.
Like you said, like you said before, like early game, if your starting item is spoon with Eddie, that is amazing. But then dropping him later on, I do not find that difficult.
Looks like Curios is through Dark Knight with just Yang standing here.
We do get to see the mechanic where Rydia got to have her share of the 21,000 experience, though, because she is our hero. And let's see who would like to join Curios's party.
We got a Kane.
All right, more beefiness and goodbye, flimsy Eddie.
Yeah. And Antlion, second boss, not in his natural habitat on the moon, and in quite an easy spot. I don't mind seeing him here.
It kind of resembles a Masamune spot, which is an objective with the crystal floor, so maybe he got confused.
Oh, no. And Tybalt with only one character standing as well after that fight, but it's Cecil.
Yep, you can see the difference on your screens. The base level 600 on Curios's and Tybalt after the egg. Basically double that, 1,200.
And Curios is through. We will see the arm crawl and a key item.
All right, Flossie, you want to predict what's Tybalt going to do with the king? Take, reject?
I think he's probably going to take him. Nope, reject.
Ooh.
Should have
Tybalt
talked a
finding
little slower.
Yeah. Difficult to get rid of the spoon word.
I get it. And I'm not sure that we really have, if we found anything that's quite that exciting for Kane, if we have any good spears hanging out. I didn't see or notice, so. We got a nice earth crystal there from King Giat.
I would guess both runners are going to hit that up before their grind as they're thinking about their grind. It is nice that we have that paladin because you do need to defend yourself against the Mac Giants. And having a paladin with the ability to do the cover command is going to go a long way. So finding a couple more pieces of armor, though, at least one of them has the glass out. I believe Curios, if not both of them. And putting that on a back row Cecil will essentially help to solve the damage of the Mac Giant.
Yeah, definitely. Barabbas in chat points out that he was setting up Eddie for a slingshot, so he's committed to Eddie.
How far will he push it? Will Eddie reach the lofty heights of 1,100, 1,200, dare I say 1,300 hit points?
You shut your mouth.
I'm sorry.
You must not speak of such things.
Curios not interested in the treasury, but interested in the treasury.
Yeah. It's always a temptation there, and I think this early on we're doing it.
It's been a while since I've done comms for Free Enterprise. Do we still rate that treasury? Am I setting up a fun audio clip right now, Flossie? I have no idea.
I don't know that I've heard the audio clip, but we can definitely all rate that treasury if we'd like.
Rate that treasury!
I mean, I did see an okay spear there for Kane, but there wasn't a whole heck of a lot that was super exciting in there. That we didn't already kind of have in our inventory.
Yeah, that was not stirring. Definitely not.
There was a dragon whip, yeah. And I'm not sure that I think we already did have a heroine robe, but there was one of those in there as well.
Yeah, and that would be great if we had one of those white mages we were talking about, like a Porm or a Rosa, which maybe we're about to see both of them here at the Tower Zot. So I would imagine Kyrios is prioritizing just the character variety. We'll see if Tybalt makes the same decision. But Tybalt's going to take on that Mylon and Friends that we know is sitting here.
Yeah. Very doable at this point. I mean, as you can see, they're weak to Holy.
Yeah, combine that with some Bahamut casts. Should not be too bad.
I think I'm going to predict a vanilla Rosa on this Zot.
Okay, so you're calling a Rosa and you're calling the spot she's in.
I'm going vanilla Rosa.
Okay. Then I'll call Porum in the brainwash Kane spot.
All right, first boss in Zot, we have Dark Elf. And everyone's a little, yeah, we're all pretty set up for a slingshot here, so.
Yeah, we got 10 characters on the screen, and 4 of them are reclining comfortably.
It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Ride the floor, bide your time, till the moment of glory. Assassin Dagger, not really glorious, though.
Yeah, it's a bit less than glorious.
Though, yeah, it does give you a little bit of agility manipulation for the end game.
Right, yeah, Radia can use it. I actually forgot she could use daggers there as an adult, so. And honestly, some of these Z fights are a little dicey with the agility situation, so anything that can manipulate agility, you're not necessarily disappointed in seeing.
Right. It's not progress, but it's something, and we have edge in that first spot.
Got an edge.
Kyrios is the one runner that ditched the Eddy, but yet still has the spoon in the inventory, so I think we know what that spoon is destined for.
Absolutely. Oh, it's a Sid. I was wrong.
All right, I'm very interested to see the decisions that Kyrios makes for his final 5 before the grind.
Goodbye, King. Goodbye, Sid. Tybalt is climbing the tower while we have it's a vanilla Val. I knew something was vanilla in this tower.
We found her.
And Tybalt's
Yeah,
actually... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, more vanilla in another tower.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. 2 towers, 2 vanilla.
We also saw the evil wall in the Rubkin spot, so we know that we won't have to deal with that until and if the runners choose to do the launch the Falcon objective, but by the time they get there, it will not be a problem.
I always find that objective is a little low on my list.
You mean like if you can find other things to do?
Yes.
Yeah. It feels like, yeah, when you get the magma key and you get the hook 45 minutes to like an hour into the seed, you're like, do I really have to do this?
Yeah. It's like doing homework when you're an adult.
Mm-hmm. Classic video game randomizer homework.
Yeah, not good. The Bahamut coming out, of course, making short work of the first phase of the Dr. Luge fight.
Okay, so Magical sisters and scientists and robots are also weak to the same thing, a big dragon.
You know, my list is getting longer. And we got an elixir out of that Zot climb. It is an objective, so happy to have done it. Elixirs are nice, but it is not progress.
So we're still at just 3 objectives available to the runners based on the key items they've currently gathered. Kyrios is going to be following Tybalt up the tower, and I would guess that Tybalt would be kind of returning to the tower Zot where Kyrios was, so we'll see. I guess Tybalt will show us first what we're getting.
It's that Baron key, which is an objective, so we probably will see that quite soon.
And another shot at that white mage. You can see where my mind's at. And when I'm racing seeds like this, and I'm, closing in on 45 minutes into the seed without a white mage, I'm just scared. I admit it here in front of everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, because you do have everything you need to do the grind. However, is this really what you want to do? And we have D-Mist. Both of them kind of high-fiving at D-Mist here in the cannon room.
And I bet they're actually high-fiving through the D-Mist because it's mist. It's possible.
You can high-five right through that thing.
Science. Simultaneous kills.
At the same time. Yeah, look at that.
Good job, runners. And now, I like this. It's really symmetrical. Now they're going to go their separate ways, one up and one down.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting if they're...
It just amuses me.
Very symmetrical. It'd be interesting if there was like a flag you could turn on that gave you a little high five message if it happened. You guys passed each other. Like, it would be very kind of scary as well. And tilting.
I want to be able to race for Enterprise with like ghost mode on, like in a car racing game where you can see the ghosts of your opponent.
Oh man, wow.
I wouldn't just follow my opponent around the entire race. That wouldn't be what I'd do at all.
All right, we're about to see the second item here on Tybalt's side. It's a package, which is an objective.
That tower was pretty important.
Yeah, the objectives are kind of rolling in here.
Yeah, I was thinking with the caliber of runners we're seeing, they're both 1-0. They've both been around a while. They both have won tournament races for years. If things lined up, we could have a pretty quick seed.
And yeah, as Chad is pointing out here, we're in go mode.
Don't think we're getting music, unfortunately. Huh. Is Biken the one that gives you the package in vanilla? Or does it just come from the king?
You do get it in that throne room. I don't know, does Biken kind of sidle up to you and give it to you? I can't actually remember. It's been a while since I played vanilla.
Because this time Biken came out of the pack.
He sure did. There you go.
We have conflicting opinions in chat about what it is.
Maybe it's different in different versions too.
Yeah, there are a few.
Kyrios through his Luge fight there, and probably not going to see Tybalt go through the whole package fight and cutscene here for this duplicate Balam. Especially since we know D-Mist is already taken care of.
Yeah, and I think Tybalt has already visited Kaipo for any of the needs, not having to trigger it for mundane reasons, and it looks like we're gonna take care of that Baron objective.
Yeah, this should be no problem at these levels. Just kind of zip right through. It is a long check. I find it kind of enjoyable, but it does take up time. So if you want to come in here, you definitely want it to be an objective.
You find Baron itself enjoyable?
Yeah, it's kind of a relaxing check for me. I don't know. It's sort of, you know, if it's required, I kind of use it as like thinking time because it's generally pretty easy by the time you're here.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you get the after you're done, you have the long cutscene, and you can decide where to go next.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, what do you think Tybalt's going to do when he finishes this? He'll have Baron done, and then he's got some options.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would be tempted to just kind of get that grind done at this point if he's happy with his party.
Just looking at his objective list, I'm a little surprised he didn't go to Zot first because it does drop you off at Baron. And he still needs to do that,
Oh.
but
Yeah, that's actually true. He may do Zot first, actually, now that you mention it.
but even before he does Zot, we might see him pacing back and forth in front of Baron. So I guess he could do that after Zot as well.
We've all done the Baron pace. Nice little... Well, I guess it's not so nice to see this free fight here since this is such an easy spot anyway. I would have been much more happy to see this at the Masamune altar or something like that, but...
Yeah, or saying that element spot in the required giant.
Oh yeah, that's actually my favorite spot for King Queen Evelyn.
Well, we know it's not the Kaipo guards and not King Queen Evelyn at the element spot on the giant. It could still be something fun for our runners, like, I don't know, CPU.
Ugh. CPU is just kind of brutal there. Kanaza would be interesting.
Yeah, those would be my two top picks to see these talented runners take on.
And yeah, oh, well, we do have our White Mage. White Mage confirmed, Rosa hanging out in Baron.
All right, the decision. There he goes. The Tybalt hasn't done Zot yet, doesn't know there's an edge waiting. If he does that before his grind, I'm interested to see if he takes the edge to use that spoon later as a dart, but we do have our White Mage. I would be super surprised if Kyrios doesn't make a similar decision. We'll just have to see who he chooses to drop for Rosa.
And we have the pan there from Baron Castle. Lots and lots of options right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Tybalt deciding to check the non-required spot. Like, pan opens up some key item checks. You know, I wonder if you want to try to hunt, like, I guess at this point it's either the hook or both parts of Forge to be able to, you know, not have to do one of the other objectives.
We do have a blue robe here. Could be another free fight, could be the gauntlet. And it's the gauntlet. And we're resetting out of that.
Yeah, I suppose Tybalt was just looking for something maybe quick and easy, see if he can grab one of those other required KIs, or maybe we haven't seen the pass yet. Pass would be nice, not required though, because we have the Darkness Crystal, and you could just simply conquer the vanilla Masamune altar your final objective at the bottom of the moon and be relatively close.
Tybalt cracking his eggs. And Travis points out in chat, might have been trying to get Blink on the Rosa, so that is another thing that makes the Mac Giant grind quite a bit easier if your White Mage has Blink.
Yeah, and slingshotting 2 characters maybe not as important if you know you're going to be getting hopefully the big experience of both the Giant and the Masamune spot. So Rosa will be able to catch up there, not needing the slingshot.
Yeah, that's very true. And I am not quite sure what I saw over there on Curios's side. I believe Rosa got traded. It almost looked like he traded traded Cecil for Rosa.
Yep, and we just saw Tybalt walk halfway down to turn in the pan and then exit out, and he probably just realized he's in go mode.
Right.
Would be my guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because it was for a while we only had access to a couple of objectives. I think you mentioned then like 3 or 4 checks in a row we just hit objective KIs, and yeah, if you're not kind of looking at that explicitly, it might kind of go by you in the moment.
Yeah, it's when go mode creeps up on you like this, it's pretty easy to miss it because you kind of have it paced out in your head a slightly different way in general. At least I do.
Looks like here's maybe angling towards a mage finish or reflect finish, dropping the Cecil. On this flag set, we don't have an abundance of holy swords. We haven't found any yet. We don't need him as cover anymore if you're going to let Rosa get the experience here for Blink. So just kind of getting the grind set up, and 2 black mages, a white mage, and 2 martial artists up front is a pretty good final team.
It's pretty good. And, Cecil's always like a tempting keep, but with just the lightsaber, without necessarily good gear, he's not always like, cream of the crop like he is in other flag sets. And Jazer in chat is asking if Kyrios has a Thunderclaw or Charmclaw. I believe both of our runners have the Thunderclaw. I believe they got at least one of them in the Fey March.
Yep. And looks like we are about to very soon have simultaneous grinds. Kyrios flying the whale over to Baron, Tybalt leaving Baron to find the whale after doing his pacing routine. If you're new to the concept, they're simply manipulating the encounter table to know that when they next turn on encounters, they will get the one they want, which is a single searcher, which will give them time to set up and then eventually trigger a parade of Mac Giants, which they will take down, probably life glitch them up, and reap huge experience rewards. But I do think they have some flexibility how far they want to take it, considering that they're both looking like they're going to be doing the Giant immediately after.
Yeah, I believe I said this earlier, but this is definitely my favorite grind setup, where you can just sort of truncate the Mac Giant grind and then, hopefully get through the rest of the Giant easily and complete your grind that way.
And looks like they have identical key item count, which is exactly 10 for both of them. I believe, yep. So with the current flags, 10 key items, double experience. They each have, I believe, 1 character down, and that will double that again.
Ooh, looks like Tybalt didn't get quite the right encounter there. I think Tybalt has just decided to forego the grind chart completely and just see if he can find the encounter himself.
But we see the reset, unfortunately. Luckily, the save wasn't too far back. Might just have to redo the steps.
Yeah, this grind, it's, you know, in my opinion, a little easier than D-Machine or other grinds, but the setup is stressful, and if, you know, you don't end up on the right encounter, it can be kind of tilting when you're in a race, so...
Yeah, assuming they haven't memorized it. I don't know how many people have. I know there's a couple numbers people sometimes key in on, but they're basically looking at a chart. The chart has numbers. But if you've done this setup as you have, of course, and just about every racer has, there are lots of red X's on the chart, meaning it's just not a convenient place to find the encounter. So we are seeing a bunch of resets, and then whatever little glitch Tybalt had that led him to see the single Mac Giant instead of the Searcher, which summons them. So both runners dealing with that right now.
Will we get the coveted mirror grind?
And which one? Will it be back to back or belly to belly?
But yeah, people who have the chart memorized, I doff my cap to you. I know I know 46 is a good number on that. That's the only one I have.
And because of my first race last week, I think it's the first time I've ever gotten it. I went to 80, and 80, I believe, is 0. So if you get to 80, you're done.
I think I generally reset if I hit 70.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was so bummed out because I hit the 80, I saw the 0, I was excited, and in my grind fight, I on the first go round, I mistimed it, and Yang power punched the Searcher down, and my grind was over.
That hurts.
Yeah, it was not fun, and I didn't get 80 again. I just liked the 80 for some reason.
I've definitely found out that when you're nervous, Blink and Zerk look kind of similar. So,
oh no.
Yeah. But we do kind of have a mirror grind here. We got the back-to-back.
We do. The Mac Giants are going to be belly to belly.
Oh, I see.
And let's see. Party comp, slightly different. We got the Cecil on Tybalt's side and the Edge on Kyrios' side.
Even Spoon Eddie couldn't last.
Yeah, Eddie got double rejected tonight. We've all been there, buddy.
Yeah, while we spool this grind out a little bit, I want to shout out our runners. Both of them are fantastic. Give them both a follow. Give our restreamer Cubs Rule a follow. Darth Plagle doing tracking tonight. And of course, Microcorgs, legend, here in the booth with me.
I mean, you could follow me. I don't really stream much nowadays, so your follow is much better on Flossie, who does a great stream. So follow Flossie.
Well, thanks.
And we might as well just shout out the community in general, get that Discord link out there. If you're new to this and this looks fun, like we were all there, we all watched this. We were like, what is this? That first time you realize that a Final Fantasy IV randomizer existed, at least for me, was pretty astounding. I saw a race in 2019. I saw like 3 Cecils in the team, and I said, how's this possible? And I immediately got involved, got interested, and have not regretted a second of it.
Yeah, I think for me it was sometime in 2020, and I saw people streaming this, and I was just like, this is too much. I'm never going to play this ever. And now it's like basically all I ever play and stream, so...
Yeah, that was the year of my first stream, and you were actually one of the first people to say hi, like when only 1 or 2 people would tune in. You were one of the people back then that said hello,
yeah.
and I said...
I remember this, yeah. You're such a pro on the mic, I didn't realize you were new, honestly.
Yeah, my day job, it was a bizarre time, of course, the spring of 2020. My day job was communicating via Google Meets a lot of the day, and then I would stop, I would take a break, and I found myself streaming, and it was fine.
Yeah, just ease into the next thing.
Yeah. The professional life and the recreational life were very similar that year.
I'm sure we all felt the same. But yeah, I mean, and there are very beginner-friendly flag sets on the website as well. So if this is looking a little intimidating or you don't want to think about agility so much, there's quite the variety to start out on.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Veteran runners like the challenge, take it for granted, but yeah, starting off new, this flag set has attracted some runners who haven't been in tournaments a while because of the potential challenge and difficulty of them. But like Flossie said, yeah, there are so many ways you can play this. We had a flag set from a couple years ago called Supermarket Sweep, where you get all the stuff for free in shops, and that's fun just to kind of learn what everything is and play with lots of power. But even if you wanted to dive headfirst into a challenging flag set like this, our Discord, there are like hundreds of people and really wise sages in our Discords that will guide you through any possible problem you might have.
Absolutely. And they also run lots of community clubs on tournament off seasons. There's always something to do in there for sure.
Right. And the clubs themselves have a variety of difficulties, from Tricker's Trials that can be very difficult to ones that I think the Mom Spaghetti Club, which can sometimes have seeds being done in a very short amount of time. So yeah, there's something for everyone.
Looks like Tybalt is through his grind here.
And Curious is casting Stop on the Searcher, so it looks like our simultaneous grinds are coming to nearly a simultaneous end. And we'll have simultaneous element spots fight on the Giant within a minute.
Oh yeah, Stop on the Searcher. I gotta write that down.
It's always nice to have the, at least even just minimally leveled Black Mage in your party for this fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if not for Tower of Zod, our runners are basically flat-footed tied, but Tybalt has not completed that yet. If he had completed that at this point, we might almost see the runners doing exactly the same thing for the rest of the seed, but we'll see how it plays out from here.
Do you think he might have forgotten, or do you think he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to blast through it post-grind?
That is a really good question. I don't have a great answer for that. Because he obviously, there was a moment of realization when he exited out of the Sylph Cave on his way to Bankyang with the Pang, realized he didn't need to do that, but yet did not complete Zod. Now, if he ends up, seems to me like he would need to find the pass at the Masamune altar to kind of keep in this at this point.
Sure. Yeah. We do have a sparkle here at element spot. Will it be Wyvern? Yeah. D-Lunars, shouldn't be too much of a problem. It can be kind of a tricky fight, and obviously they have a ton of HP here, so it's quite annoying, but very doable after a grind.
Yeah, the lunar bosses all counter summons. The D-Lunars counter is they simply remedy themselves, so we'll see if Tybalt decides to try the Mega Nuke here, or it looks like he may just be setting up for what are known as frog strats, and then if he can get both of the D-Lunars to be frogs, then he can do whatever the heck he wants to them.
It's a good strategy for this spot too, because of the HP pool being so large, you kind of just don't want to deal with them for that long.
Curious going a different route though. Berserking up Yang.
Yeah, Curious is really going scorched earth here.
And not Blarg, not Bahamut coming out of Rydia, but Medio queued up. Take a while to get there, but it will go through those walls that the dragons cast on themselves. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh yeah, I thought
Meteor
it
from
looked like
Palom,
it
I
too,
guess.
actually. But yeah, I saw that.
Yep. So did the Mega Nuke hit Kyrios's D-Lunars for about 9k because they healed back 5200?
I think so. I think it was like around. It wasn't quad 9s, but it was up there.
Yeah. This is a nice side-by-side case study. Unfortunately, Tybalt didn't get both D-Lunars frogged, but getting the one isn't bad.
Yeah, this both these fights are managed in different ways. It's interesting to see.
Hey, Palom, we're still waiting on that Meteo.
Yeah.
He's really concentrating. There it is.
It is. Come on, have less HP, you guys.
So what is this spot? 64, 65,000?
Yeah, I think of it as 65. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but
they both remedied themselves for 5,200. So that means they both have 50 Cubs or Restreamer.
oh, there
Yep.
you go. Yeah. So this is a particularly nasty boss to have here, is the takeaway.
Yeah, we're essentially approaching Zeromus level hit points here.
Kyrios is down 1D Lunar.
As is Tybalt. Look at this symmetry continuing from these two excellent runners. You can see, though, what's happening on Kyrios' side as a single D-Lunar is going to counter everything done to it with that powerful fire counterattack. And
Yeah,
unfortunately...
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a frustrating fight because it can turn a little bit and get, you can kind of get confident, you get through part of it, and it's still dicey. Meanwhile, it's
Tybalt with the...
through.
Having that last D-Lunar be at the frog helps a lot.
Yeah, even getting one of those frogs is good. And both of our runners are through. I got a little worried for Kyrios there at the end, but he pulled it off.
Pulled it off, left the Rosa up, which is probably the most important person at this
Yeah.
stage to get that experience on.
Absolutely, that would have hurt without with Rosa being down for sure.
Hey, look, one cabin. What a good time for it.
Yeah, great time for that cap. Second boss in Giant is Mom Bomb, so a multi-stage boss here at the end.
I have a feeling we're only going to see the one stage.
I think so too. We're definitely putting out the pain here.
I like how Tybalt didn't even cure up, and he is through. Very well done.
There we go. Yeah, didn't even get to the explodey, puffy, big body part. We do get a character check here at the Giant, but I doubt our runners will be taking it after the grind. And it's
Is our
that
other white mage hiding?
more than we always wanted.
Will we see Tybalt fly the whale to Zod? That could be a tricky thing to do. He would have to probably take the Chocobo back to retrieve it. Or will he go immediately to do his moon business? Let's see. we're pretty sure. I would say you'd agree. Curious is heading right to the moon, right?
I think so. I feel like Zot's kind of. Or what are we doing here? We're going for it. No, we're going to Baron.
Chocobo time.
And the reason I just realized Tybalt is doing this is so he doesn't double park at the Troya parking place. Because once you're done with Zot, I believe you end up back in the Enterprise. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess you'd wind up back in Baron, and he'd probably he was going to do the Chocobo flight one way or the other, either to get there or to retrieve the whale.
Makes sense.
So we saw Swag Rocks from Curios, and we saw the Swagabo from Tybalt. These runners just showing off at this point.
They deserve it. They're both so good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're basically a little under an hour 10, and we're at the end stage of the seed. And Tybalt got through the D-Lunars a little quicker, I think, a little more efficiently, but Curios is up the Zot check, which Tybalt is doing now. So I'd say Curios in the driver's seat, but there is still another fight to do. There's still a Z fight to get through.
Yep. Definitely not over till it's over, and this is quite the race. Now, what do you think would give Curios the most issues here on the moon, if anything?
I can't think of anything because we saw where the gauntlet is already.
Right.
If that gauntlet had shown up, that could have been tricky, but we know it's not there. I think we saw Ogopogo already. Someone in chat thinking of Vanilla.
I believe was second Baron in spot? Question mark? Yeah.
Erase that question mark. You are correct.
Period.
Yeah. You only had the question mark because it disappeared on both runner screens pretty quickly after the Bahama cast.
Exactly. Odin would be a little nasty, yeah. I see that in chat there. Some kind of... Wait, we haven't seen Wyvern yet. What if Wyvern and Witchburn cast Charm? That would be pretty nasty.
All right. We know what we're rooting for now. Let's see.
And Tybalt seeing that edge for the first time post-grind. Whereas Curios is going for that Masamune altar, going to be the last of the objectives he needs.
Here it is. Final boss before Z is...
and it's the water hag. Yeah.
Not as challenging as any of us would have hoped.
Free boss. Just does some punches.
We could have done this the whole time. Kind of.
It's always a little embarrassing when you wipe to water hag's punches in a spot like this. Think you can handle it. But our runners are quite leveled, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, post-grind, no issue. Pre-grind, if you're feeling a little adventurous and you dip down here with characters just around 1,000 hit points, you're going to be getting one shot, but we're not in that situation. Now the big question, will we get one more dose of swag here from Curios?
Oh, it's the pass. Funny.
Are we getting a save here, Flossie? What do you think?
I would save, but
I'm saying no. Curios?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we're shuffling around our equipment here, so we might be swagging down there.
Yeah, no. Curios is on a mission.
Agility, yep.
No save. No exiting. I'm not sure if we could exit. Oh, I guess we could. We did Zot. But not even worth the time to walk past the crystal floor to the exit, to the level where you can exit. We're just arranging our party here in the shadow of the water hag fight, and now we're heading down to the core.
Going for it. Good luck. And did I see 27 agility on Radia, or was he able to kind of manipulate that a little more.
I saw 27 on the screen, but then I didn't pay attention to what got equipped afterwards.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think something happened.
Well, we got the end of the alphabet appearing in chat.
Yeah, look at that.
Chat knows what's happening.
Well, I think we're about ready to see our Z Sprite of the day, or second one of the day, because there was another wonderful race today.
Yeah, chances are, if you saw that race, I didn't, but chances are it's going to be different than that one. If it's not, that's amazing, because there are a lot of them.
There are what, 650 now, something like that.
Yeah, 650,000, just like you said. There are that many, and we're
just 650 million Z sprites. You never know.
Yeah, like you said, 650 billion of these. So let's see which one we get.
Okay,
because
chat's confirming. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because when we see the sprite, then we'll know whose butt we're going to kick tonight.
Exactly.
With a few exceptions, it should not look anything like the vanilla Final Fantasy boss, but there are a couple modifications. I like Neonmus. Let's see if we get Neonmus. That's what I'm rooting for.
Oh, that's so funny. I was just about to talk about this one, actually, because I had just gotten it, like, not that long ago. So we just basically have a backwards Zemus today. After talking up, like, all of our millions and billions of Z sprites.
Yeah, Zemus got surprised. And we have Sumo Res.
S'mores.
Hold it up to a mirror. But here goes the fight. And here comes that spoon that Eddie once clasped in his hand is now going to be thrown into the rear end of Zemus.
And as predicted, lots and lots of mage action here on Kyrios' side. So we're going to see a lot of damage coming out.
Tons of damage, quick fight, huge hit point numbers, even on our mages. Palom, 2,600. Rosa approaching 3,000.
Yeah, these characters, the exception of Radia, can pretty much nerf and tank and unnerf Big Bang most of the time.
Yeah, super close race. I do not see a spot where Kyrios isn't going to get through this fight, but we'll see if he can launch the last few attacks. He is doing the mage reflect strat, where we'll skip a big chunk of the end of the fight because there is a counter script that gets activated. So this fight's going to be pretty quick. Is that the last spell? Nope.
And I believe Edge is just chucking lightsabers like you wouldn't believe. I just saw 2 in the inventory. One just came out.
Yeah, hopefully Kyrios is counting, because that is the danger. Is if you exceed the threshold, which is what, around 45,000. I always forget the exact number, but I know when I get close to that number, I stop doing direct attacks. Kyrios is pretty experienced. I'm sure he's been counting. But you don't want to exceed that with a direct attack. That's why we're seeing the spells bounce. So I saw a lot of damage go out before that.
Yeah, I did too. I wasn't really counting there, but... Tybalt is being a little safer here and saving, so...
This could be the last spell. If it's not, then have we tipped? But
a couple of our characters going down, unfortunately.
can see a Star Veil getting thrown out. Are we going to hit a black? Okay, good timing there. The black hole removes the Star Veil from Yang, and yet the one that Palom has queued up is going to apply, and I would imagine we're going to see a few more spells bounced. Really comes down to whether he crossed that threshold with that direct dart.
And I think Chad is kind of saying that he might have tipped, so...
And I believe the fact that we got that nuke confirms it.
Right, yep.
Yeah, that dart. This fight is still salvageable and can still be finished in not too many more big spells, but did kind of extend it for himself a bit.
Giving Tybalt a little bit of catch-up time here.
Yeah. I think the high levels and the high damage is going to see Kyrios through this. But not a gimme. That's it.
Yep, there we
Good
go.
game to Kyrios.
GG Kyrios. Wow. 119. That's a great time.
Yeah, and great managing of the fight. I would bet Kyrios knew immediately when that dart went out that that either he knew he had tipped or perhaps he had tipped. And maybe we can even talk to Kyrios himself and ask about that last dart of edge.
The dart wasn't the problem. The nuke after was the problem. My brain just completely scrambled. I'm going to choose to say it's past my bedtime, and that's the problem. And on one hand, the mistake I made was I should have direct nuked with Rydia because I didn't have a nerf on the first Big Bang. And it turns out I didn't get it off in time anyways. So yeah, that was just, my brain was like, it's at 38k, I can't direct nuke, but I have to direct nuke to nerf the Big Bang, and just line got crossed.
So the dart put you to 38, something around there?
Yep, yeah, 9 each for the white and the first nuke, 99.99 for Rydia's nuke, and then and the dart. So yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And GG, congrats, you got the win there despite that. I bet you felt pretty comfortable even despite that mistake, just because of your just the immense hit points on everyone in your party and the power they were putting out.
Yeah, it's funny. I over-grinded by 1 or 2 on purpose just because I know Rydia's agility can get kind of weird, and I had the +5, and I didn't really want to put the heroin robe on her. And it turned out that the HP actually was very nice.
Yeah, she was definitely kind of in a little bit of a better zone than I've seen for sure. So how did the flow of the rest of the seed feel for you? It seemed like everything just kind of unfolded nicely.
Yeah, it was... In a way, it wasn't the linear seed because we had the magma and the darkness very early. But in terms of, I think, the checks that made sense at any given time, the seed was pretty linear. Honestly, the most important thing, and I talked to Tybalt already about this, is that both of us got the Eglin Tower Rydia right starter package there. I think if either of us misses that, that's several minutes on its own.
That was very, very key. Yeah, obviously both runners, both of you guys went and got that. And yeah, pretty much radio was set for the rest of the seat there. And Tybalt is through. GG Tybalt, 121.09.
Yeah, the two of you put on a great race, great show of skills, and amazingly close finish. There were several times where you were essentially doing the same thing at the same time. A little early on, you basically went to opposite checks, but then, of course, you kind of catch up and cross over. Were there any spots you remember giving you a particular problem in the seed?
I misentered nuke when I was meant to quake on the D-Learners fight, so that's probably another minute or 2. Don't love that. Other than that, I mean, the first half, I think it went pretty smoothly. My execution is fine. I'm not like an A+ execution person, so just getting through everything clean and not really losing any time and all that, I felt pretty confident because the routing was not an issue.
No, there was a time where you basically, you and Tybalt had 3 objectives available, and then it was like bang, bang, bang. You kept hitting KIs that gave you more and more objectives available until that go mode got hit. So were you kind of tracking that as you were going?
Yeah, for sure. And for a minute or 2 there, I thought we were going to have the fabled no mech giant grind seed, because very well we could have full cleared the moon pretty easily. We had them pretty early. The opportunity was there if you needed that for go mode, but given that go mode was on the planet, it's like just do the quick grind and do the giant objective and get it over with.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So this puts you at 2-0 in your group, Kyrios, and you'll, chances are, be facing another 2-0 opponent next week. Have you had time to practice, or are you mainly just playing your race seeds? Any thoughts about how you're going to prepare as you attempt to bring yourself or keep yourself undefeated?
Yeah, I've been playing, I think I told Seth last week, 1 or 2 seeds a week, just trying to keep fresh but not burn out too much. Honestly, I like it when it comes up as the more difficult heroes in the practice seed, so that when you get a pretty manageable, slower hero for something like this, you can just kind of run with it and not think too much. There are a lot of great runners in the group, both the ones that are currently going to be 2-0, and then anyone that I could see in any of the other brackets later on. So it's good to be done early in the week, and I get to watch some races.
Get it done early.
Yep.
I love it.
I'll get out of the way for Tybalt. Thanks to the whole team, Cords and Flossie, Darth, Cubs. Thanks for, I know I dropped for like 30 seconds there. Thanks for bearing with me. Everyone have a great night.
Thank you. And GG again, wonderfully run.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kyrios. GG. We'll see if we are getting Tybalt's opponent, our runner-up, and there is Tybalt joining us. GG, Tybalt. Well, very
GG,
well-run
Tybalt.
race.
Yeah,
GG. Oh.
super close.
Hey, this is the fastest time I've had on this flag set.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, just this. See, like, I think Kyrios may have mentioned it, but we were talking like Rydia was stacked at the beginning. If you did Eblin,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Bahamut, it's just everything. And the Starker with the Fame Arch was just icing on top. And I was like, okay, I can get through most of the overworld. I don't have to worry about an egg. I got a Stardust Rod.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure that was pretty exciting to see right out the gate, especially with that radius start.
Yeah, Team 90 HP. And then, of course, you can't find a white mage to save your life.
Yeah, literally. How did it feel when you finally saw that Rosa?
Oh, I was so happy when I saw that Rosa. And I miscounted objectives a little bit. So I'm like, okay, I still gotta find the hook, and just like, I go to check Baron Basement. Like, all right, well, I want to get Rosa blank for the obvious grind of this particular flag set. So I went down to go to an egg. I'm like, I might as well do the pants since I'm here. And then like halfway through, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I'm in go mode. I just need to grind and go.
Yeah. I know, yeah, it kind of crept up on everybody, for real. It was like all the objectives kind of started unspooling in the middle there.
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a flag set where it's like everything's on Earth, just like here's all your objectives on Earth, and then it's just like here's everything you need. But you find the darkness super early, and I'm like, no, I am not doing a life potion roulette with this party to do the grind. I will wait.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. I can't do those early grinds.
Tybalt, can you remind me of your naming scheme that I saw at the beginning?
Oh, so I was hoping. Let's see if I can not lose any time to not saving. And I have a history of losing time for not saving.
And if memory serves, your first save was like the 16:30 mark on Ordeals. Does that sound about right?
No, I saved out in front of Eblin right before going in.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because it was
which was
first
that was a
box
minute
in the
in,
left,
right?
first box in the middle, and then it was loot right
Yep.
tower. So it was like quick, easy saves right then and there.
Yeah, but then essentially 15 minutes went by to your next save then.
No, I saved pretty quick.
Okay.
Actually, I saved in front of like the boss checks. I've been doing that. So
Okay.
I'm not losing 20 minutes like I did in the past.
Yeah, I was just curious if you held up your end of the bargain with your naming scheme, and I guess you did. Yeah, that was a really well-run race. Despite the early power, did you manage to find a challenging spot in this seed?
If anything, like the most challenging would probably be the giant. I wasn't sure how much the remedy would do, and I realized I was quite low on Star Veils. I wasn't going to use all of them because I still hadn't seen Golbez out there, and so I was like, I don't want to do full Toad strats here, so I'll just use one. Hopefully Rosa can get hers off, and nope. And
Yeah,
I know
that
that's where I lost a lot of time was there. It was like, oh, they heal for 5k, I'm doing 9. No.
Yeah, that was definitely the nastiest fight of the seed, I'd say. But both of you managed it very well.
I mean, if you don't have the Bahamut for Rydia, back of Ordeals 2, those sisters.
Oh yeah, that fight is kind of terrible if you don't have something like that in your back pocket for sure.
Yeah, Rydia was carried early on with that Bahamut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Bahamut gets you through in one shot, but then you have to play the roulette of will Rydia be up when it's time for her to cast it, and I think
Yeah,
you had to juggle a little bit to get that to happen.
that's just a little bit. She took the first one, and then after that, it was just
Yep.
enough to get her back in.
So
Oh,
you're
man.
great race. You're 1-1, and you're going to be most likely facing someone else who is 1-1 and is probably also going to be a fairly strong runner like yourself. Any thoughts as you think ahead to the next week?
Look at the weekend. I'm hoping I don't have to face Inven just yet. I mean, look, coming into this, I was already way rusty, especially at the first race I did. And then I get to go into Curios, who, if memory serves correct, actually came from the Pink Puff League. And let me tell you, those Pink Puff characters are quite a scary bunch.
Yeah,
Pink Puff.
they're making weapons there in that club.
And if you go to Pink Puff Elementary School, I think they have Curios's picture up on the wall. So yeah, definitely a tough opponent.
I mean, Curios, Ryvon, NG Dave, Dekar Smash, the list goes on. A lot of those are in this tournament. It's gonna be scary.
Well, congrats to you again on a well-run seed.
Yeah, I can't feel bad about this. 3 minutes behind Curios. I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, definitely a good game, Tybalt. Always a pleasure to watch you run.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch this one back. I really don't have
thank you for
else.
well, thanks for letting us broadcast you and putting on such a close race against Curios, and good luck in your next one.
Yep. All right, GG.
GG. All right, Corbs, that kind of wraps it up for the evening, right? We don't have any other events tonight, do we?
Oh, we sure do. I mean, that's the end of this race, but we are going to be sending you over right now to Free Enterprise 2 with a race between Bad Karma and someone named John Von Brick, something like that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that one. That's going to be a very, very good one. Yeah, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, so hang out. If you want more Free Enterprise, it's coming. They shouldn't be too far into their race. You should get to see a lot of it. I really enjoyed doing this with you tonight here, Flossie. Lots of fun. And thanks. Thank you to Cubs and Darth Plagal behind the scene, and for all of you for watching tonight. Have a good one.
GG, everybody.